Let's talk a little bit about your impact zones. A really nice framing for about before we get into the nuts and bolts of how you take on implementation. What does that mean, and how did you make sense of that in the context of your book for framing AI?
One thing is I was working on the book, it occurred to me that we often talk about AI as though it's one thing, right? The AI told me this as though there's
Yeah.
only one. And it's not even just there's machine learning and there's generative AI, right? But even when we look at how it impacts the learning and development professional, there are different ways in which it does, and having one monolithic conversation about it doesn't really do us service. There may be more impact zones, but by the time we put the book to bed, I found three AI impact zones. And the first is in our own productivity as a learning professional. So we've been talking about writing, right? Am I using tools to help me write? Am I using tools to help me generate media? Am I using tools to translate or do voiceover? All these things that help me as a learning professional create my outputs better, faster, stronger, leaping tall buildings, whatever that might be. In AI Impact Zone 1, the learning team is making the decision of what tool to use, when to use it, how to use it. At the end of the day, the product that is created does not have to be an AI product. It was created with AI, but at the end of the day, it's a Word document, an Excel file, a video, an MP3, a SCORM or an XAPI course, right? It becomes the same medium and it's no longer dynamic. In Impact Zone 2, this is when we're putting AI in front of the learner. L&D team is still making the decisions. We pick the tool, we decide when and how to use it, we craft the experience. But now the A not I-ness of it is being interacted with a different set of humans that are outside the L&D team. That's our learners. So think about chatbot role plays, right? Super popular. Chatbot performance support tools, particularly within the learning experience. This is a non-gen AI use, right? But an ML, a machine learning pathway, learning pathway that is determined and personalized based on your data, right? Using AI. That's zone 2. Again, those first two zones, learning and development is leading the charge, making the decisions, and we start the conversation. Zone 3 is different. Zone 3 is when the business uses AI to change how it does business, how a process happens or a new offering or something. And in that zone, L&D is not leading the conversation. We get brought into the conversation after it's already started, which is like just about every other change in an organization, right? L&D is not at the table first. That's just nothing new. In this conversation, though, the stakes are much higher because we're now outside of the learning environment. We're dealing with actual customers, actual product, actual impact. Not that L&D doesn't have actual impact, but right, the money is often much more significant than we're talking about in L&D products. L&D has an opportunity to engage and be very, very helpful in zone 3, but sometimes I worry that we spend so much time talking about zone 1 and zone 2 that we're not taking the time we save in zone 1 and zone 2 to go engage in zone 3.